My name is Swinda Asinkap. My major is chemical engineering, and then my minor is computer science. And I am a 4-year out of 5-year student here at Virginia Tech. What does it take to be an engineer? So one thing that I've learned here at Virginia Tech, you need to be a little bit creative to be an engineer, to kind of like think outside the box and kind of think of problems in a way that maybe other people wouldn't think about. Engineering is very teamwork based. So I spent most of my time, my freshman year, just kind of working in teams, working in design teams, in groups, and kind of bouncing ideas off of each other. You need to have good study habits as like an engineer. I remember my freshman year, I didn't have very good study habits, even though coming out of coming out of high school, I was like a straight A student, but studying in college is very different from studying in high school. And I didn't really know how to study in college, and I had to learn that, and actually learn that through different places on campus, one of them being the Student Success Center. I would say that you have to have a basic interest in math and science, and I think it'd be a great idea to take challenging high school classes, AP, IB, and honors classes, and extracurricular activities. So for Virginia Tech, our average GPA was coming out of high school was a 4.2 to 5.0. The average SAT was a 707 for math and 655 for reading. And females make about 20% to 21%, and then about 30% for out-of-state students. So if you guys wanna, I'll give you guys a minute to take your phone and then take a picture of that. You can see the common entry point in classes. You can take IB and dual enrollment classes, and then this website right here, you can see if your classes transfer or not to Virginia Tech. Here as a freshman, we want you to be a well-rounded student, and to be a well-rounded student, we take pathways or kind of CLEs to get you also familiar with history, art, sciences, music, fun classes that kind of take you away from the engineering aspects. And I can say personally that I took like a music class, and it was very fun and kind of gave me a little bit of a break. And then, so for select major, a 3.0 guarantees your first choice major. All right, so one of the classes that you take in your engineering is Foundations of Engineering, and I personally love this class coming into Virginia Tech because it taught me a lot about how to work as a team. It introduced me to different coding languages. One thing that we use as kind of like a training tool is MATLAB, and it kind of got me started thinking about outside the box, because you don't realize you're thinking in the box until you're shown the box, sort of. And Foundation of Engineering also really taught me about all of the different majors of engineering that Virginia Tech has to offer. And my Foundations of Engineering teacher did a really great job of just kind of breaking down each major and showing, okay, this is what, if you like this major, this is kind of what you'll be doing. And if you don't like any of this, don't take this major. They were very honest. And I think that's something very good that our Foundations of Engineering class does. So right here, we have a list of undergraduate enrollments for 2019. Engineering education is the greatest because every freshman who enters Virginia Tech automatically gets enrolled in engineering education. And then down the list, you can see the undergraduate size for each class. Engineering science mechanics is actually no longer major, but we have biomedical engineering instead, and that's 37. That major just opened up. And then we have mechanical engineering is our second largest greatest major, and then I believe computer science closely follows. So now we're going to go over the different majors that Virginia Tech has to offer, and I just wanted to mention that I see your questions in the Q&A, and I'll be going over all of those at the end of this PowerPoint slideshow. So electrical engineering. So what electrical engineers do is they look at electrical systems and electronics, and microelectronics, electromagnetics, communication systems, and controls. So they have a lot of lab-based projects. Personally, my roommate is an electrical engineer, and they do a lot of lab-based projects, a lot of hands-on work, a lot of working with circuits and system tree. And the job types that you can get with an electrical engineering degree are power and energy, microelectronics and semiconductors, communications, and they're kind of just like universal and needed everywhere. I will say that if you love research, that there's plenty of electrical engineering research that you can get involved in as well. So computer science, this is also my minor. Computer science is, you can design and develop possible softwares for operating systems and applications. Possible areas of study are human-computer interaction, knowledge and information and data, media, creative and computing, scientific computing, and systems and networking. So when you, for example, when you come into your first computer science class, they'll teach you the basics and basics of Java. So you get to learn different coding languages as well. You can possibly take 5 years of a BS and MS track. I know lots of people that are doing that. And different job types are software and design, development, networking and computer security, mobile applications, game design and development. I would say that almost every major except for chemical engineering, and I'm not sure about biomedical engineering, give the 5 year master's program if you can ask for it. So computer engineering, incorporating computing systems into everyday life. So I like to say that computer engineering is a little bit of computer science and a little bit of electrical engineering, because you have that kind of software background, but you also get those hands-on activity that if you like that. So areas of specialization that you can work is networking, hardware, computer systems, cybersecurity, telecommunications, and honestly, there is so much that you can do with this degree. Biological systems and engineering. So this is more of our land and water resources. You work a lot with the environment, and I sometimes, just as a personal anecdote, I see the biological systems engineering, they have clubs where they go out into the local rivers and the lakes, and they kind of take samples of that for research. So I think that's something really cool that they do. So any job types that they do is biopharmaceutical, biotechnology, biochemical, biofuels, biomass, food processing, and they work at a lot of nonprofit organizations. So chemical engineering, I'm a little bit biased because this is my love. It's my major and I love it so much. Chemical engineering, so applications of chemistry, mathematics, and physics based. You learn a broad spectrum of different solutions and fuels, chemical processes, fluid dynamics, system transfers, simulations and processing. And you can work in almost any field. If you want to work in pharmaceuticals, or you want to work in food management, if you want to work in oil and gas, if you want to work in cosmetics, there are so many different fields that chemical engineering can be applied to. And that's something that I personally love about it. So something that's very special about the chemical engineering program is that in your last summer of college, your summer of your junior year going into your senior year, you get to you can either study abroad or you can stay in Virginia Tech campus, and you do something called UOLab. And it's really a great opportunity. If you haven't gotten research experience yet, it's a great opportunity to go and get research experience, and also to study abroad and experience different cultures, different cultures in different areas of the world. So, and then also some job types, like I was saying before: fuels, chemicals, ceramics, paper, pharmaceuticals, consumer products, consulting, cosmetics, etc. It's a very large array. So material sciences and engineering, I like to describe this major as chemical engineering is the broad, and if you want to specify, material science and engineering is something really great that you can study in, because possible areas of from specific study are metals, nuclear materials, polymers, ceramics, electrical materials, and biomaterials. We also have like different hands-on laboratories. So like if you see in this picture right here, up in the top right corner, this is one of our biomaterials labs, and actually it's actually kind of fun because my friend has like all different arrays of her forgeries. I wouldn't want to say like forgeries, but forges that she makes. So they're actually really cool, and I really like it. So mining and minerals engineering. So areas of emphasis are exploration, finding new reserves, evaluation, determining economic potential, development, like creating a mine, extraction, removing ore, mining processes, recovering valuable materials ore, and reclamation, which is restoring the land. Something that's really cool that I don't know if many people know about is that in Virginia Tech, our buildings is made of something called Hokie stone, and then our mining and mineral engineers actually mine the Hokie stone for our buildings just specifically for us. So I think that's something really cool. That's like a hands-on activity that our engineers get to do. So civil engineering is you can design and build and maintain infrastructure. So you can work with, like you see in the upper right-hand corner, you can work with bridges and you can like build bridges, or you can work in kind of like in the lower right-hand corner where you can, that's the Google car, and we have a Google road right outside of Virginia Tech where Google does their testing for their AI cars. So you can be working with that research, or you can be working with research with bridges. Some job types are structural engineer, environmental engineer, construction manager, water resources, transportation engineer, and geotechnical engineer. So construction engineering and management is something that companies came to us about. So different companies came to us and they said, so hey, that we need an engineering major that kind of has both the management and the business side, as well as kind of the engineering mindset. And that's where construction engineering and management was born. So they plan, direct, and coordinate construction projects, as well as integrate civil, environmental, and business and building construction. So a fun fact that I always love to share is that the construction engineering and management students are allowed to wear their yellow hard hats instead of graduation caps at graduation. And everybody can see them in the crowd because they're bright yellow. So aerospace and ocean engineering. So before I get into talking about that, I want to pay attention. I'm going to show you this little video right here. So at Virginia Tech, we have a wind tunnel, and at our wind tunnel, so this guy right here, our wind tunnel was given to us by NASA, and this guy, he wanted to test out how much he can withstand in a hurricane. And what actually NASA tried to rebuild a wind tunnel, and their wind tunnel wasn't as good as the one that they gave us. So NASA asked us, they were like, hey, can we have our wind tunnel back? And then we were like, no, we're gonna keep it. So that's so cool that we have a wind tunnel that's kind of better than NASA's. So I'm gonna pause that. All right, so aerospace and ocean engineering, they're kind of two different majors, but they're under one branch. You can study aerodynamics, hydrodynamics, structures, propulsions. So like I said before, you can double major with aerospace and ocean, but aerospace and ocean are actually two separate majors. So that's something really cool that you can do here. So mechanical engineering, I like to think of mechanical engineering as kind of the Swiss Army knife of engineering, because mechanical engineers can basically do anything. You can work in anything from cars, power, robotics, smart materials, AIs, CAD, combustion, biomedicals, and nuclear. It's a wide array of things you can work with mechanical engineering. So applied principles, motion, heat, and force. And so here on the bottom right-hand corner, you can see our the Air Tech. So Virginia Tech builds their own kind of cars and then they go race them. So I think that's something really cool. And you can see this stuff if you visit Virginia Tech's campus. You can see this in the Wear Lab. So biomedical engineering is a new major to Virginia Tech. So it produces interdisciplinary trained engineers who can solve problems associated with complex biological systems by applying the principles of biology, chemistry, medicine, physics, and engineering. So this is kind of a popular major that Virginia Tech is having right now, and it was in high demand, so that's why Virginia Tech is now offering it to their students, which is awesome. Something I like to share about biomedical engineering is we have a great lab on campus that studies cardiovascular engineering and nanomedicine, and I absolutely love their lab because they always give like tours, and what they're doing is just amazing. So what you can do with this job, you can do medical devices, tissue engineering, cancer research, automotive and military safety, product and sports safety. So if you love research and you love kind of being in a lab, I think this major would be great for you. As a side note, so we have a great sports safety lab on campus where they actually test the headgear of our football players. So I thought that's nice. So ISE, or Industrial Systems in Engineering, analyze, design, implement, and improve integrated work systems. So their areas of study are human factors, ergonomics, manufacturing systems, management systems, and operation systems. So I like to think about ISEs as kind of, they make engineering efficient. I know that one of our members works with Disney, and she is an ISE major. She tries to make their Disney parks more efficient by managing the flow of people. So I think that's kind of cool. And then, so job types is healthcare, transportation, manufacturing, and optimization, product design, consulting. So in this slide, you can see, for more information, you can explore the engineering website. So I'm going to actually click on this website right now. And then you can see this Explore Engineering website where it has all our engineering majors, and you can see, and if you want to click, so let's say I'm just going to click on chemical engineering, and then you can see your overview, areas of interest, skills, and related majors and minors. So that's something cool that I used a lot actually in my freshman year. So opportunities available. Engineering minors, are computer science, which is what I'm minoring in right now, cybersecurity, green engineering is a very popular minor, and they actually just revamped the program, so that's really cool. Microelectronics, naval engineering. Naval engineering has a lot to do with ocean engineering and has a little bit of aerospace involved. You get to work a lot with research for military with that minor. Biomedical engineering and interdisciplinary, engineering science or scienceering. So other opportunities available is study abroad. We have the Rising Sophomores Abroad program, or RSAP, that you can apply to, and then you can study abroad. I was supposed to go on to RSAP, and I went to China, so that was super cool. I really loved to kind of got immersed in the culture there, and it's a really great thing to put on your resume. Another study abroad I'm going to mention again is UOLab, so you can go study abroad in Germany or Denmark. So undergraduate research. So because Virginia Tech is like a research institution, we have tons of undergraduate research that you can go to, and you can literally email professors and say, hey, I would like to learn more about your undergrad research program. And they will love to talk to you. Professors love talking about their research, I would like to say. I was actually part of a research called, his name was Jake Soha, and he does flying snakes. So if you just like Google Jake Soha flying snakes, you'll see kind of what his research is about. And I did a lot of data collection and testing for his lab. And I worked in his lab for about 2 years. So if you have any questions about that, I can ask them. And then engineering professional societies and organizations. So one of the popular organizations is so we have organizations like AICHE, American Institute of Chemical Engineers, ISC organization for ISC majors, SWE, Society of Women Engineers. We also have fraternity and sororities, AOE for engineering girls. So there's lots of different organizations. If you love engineering as much as I do, you can go be a part of those orgs. So in engineering, we really encourage our students to participate in internship and co-op programs. Like I said before, I'm a 5-year student, so I actually took a year off from college to go work for Advancix, which is a chemical company that does they works for nylon 6 plastics. There we go. Sorry. But here you can see a map of which companies that you can work with. So we got Altria, Clark, Volvo, Bank of America, Mosaic, GE Aviation, GV Transportation, 3M, IBM. You can work for all those in engineering. And I will say that like every major, if you learn your major well, like every major can be applied to so many different things. So it's something really great that Virginia Tech does. We want like well-rounded engineers. So support outside of class. So we have career fairs. So for engineers, the biggest career fair is Engineering Expo. Engineering Expo is a career fair for all engineers that from all different majors. Over 100 companies come, and they come specifically for us. And what's something great about Virginia Tech is that most of the representatives from different companies that come back are alumni. So you can see in this picture top here where it says career fairs, the woman that's talking to the student and actually the man in the background as well are both alumni from Virginia Tech, and you can kind of see by their clothing that they're alumni, because alumni that are representatives wear kind of a Virginia Tech t-shirt or a ribbon or such. And we have a saying in the College of Engineering that Hokies hire Hokies, because they know how well that we train our students. So the SEED and peer mentoring program, and then Hypatia and Galileo, I'm going to talk about them together because Hypatia and Galileo is in the SEED unit. So first Hypatia and Galileo, I was a part of Hypatia and Galileo. Coming in as a freshman, I was part of Hypatia, and Hypatia and Galileo is a living learning community for engineers. And I absolutely loved my time there because as a student, I was able to just yell down the hall, hey, is anybody working on the physics homework? Is anybody working on chem? Is anybody doing this, math, and then a bunch of people would pop out their heads, and I'm not exaggerating, like I would say like three to five people would pop out their heads and be like, yeah, you want to come work with me? And then it would be really cool to just have someone to say, and you explain a topic to someone and they explain it back to you, and that's a really great way of studying as well in groups. But if you don't think a living learning community is really great for you, then you can do the SEED peer mentoring program. So in SEED, we have peer mentors that kind of help you along your way in your freshman year. And they're also a great resource if you don't really want to be a part of a living learning community, but you still want to have that mentor, then SEED peer mentoring program is definitely right for you. So we also have STEP, which is kind of a program where if you want to visit Virginia Tech and kind of get the feel of college before you actually go to college. I kind of say that STEP is like, a pre-run before your actual run. So in STEP, you can go and take classes at Virginia Tech and kind of get a GPA and learn how to study and make friends and learn the campus before actually classes start during the summer. And I knew a lot of people in STEP, and they were so much more ahead than I was because I didn't do STEP. And they were much more ahead because when I was studying nonstop for 2 days straight, my friend was playing video games because he was like, I totally got this exam. It's not as bad as you think. And it's a great way to kind of just get ahead in college. So hands-on / minds-on organizations that you can be on campus. Astrobotics, Baja is SAE, mechanical engineers, really good into that. I will say, I'll point out one organization that I knew a lot about is Concrete Canoe. So if you look in the bottom leftist picture right over here, they are working on concrete canoes. So you actually make a canoe out of concrete and it floats, and you can paddle it in the water, and they race in the water with it, which is great. If you want to know more about that program, my best friend is actually the head of that organization, so I can get you contacts. So we also got formula teams, houses for the future, human powered submarine, which I think is really cool. It's in that picture in the upper right hand corner. Hyperloop, programming competitions. So I always see flyers about programming competitions around Virginia Tech's campus. So if you ever wanted to do one, there's always an opportunity for it. And Steel Bridge. So VT engineering rankings, some rankings that you guys can look at. So we're ranked 13 best in undergraduate programs among accredited engineering schools nationwide. 31 best graduate program among accredited engineering schools. Number 7 in producer of engineers for bachelor degrees. Ranked number 8 in producer of women engineers. Like I said, and I've been saying this the whole time, Virginia Tech loves well-rounded engineers, and that's kind of what companies look for, is well-rounded engineers. I mean, yes, you know your stuff, but can you work outside of your area? Can you intermingle with different people, maybe not in your wheelhouse? For example, when I was on co-op, I worked as a production engineer for based in chemical engineering, but then I had to speak to a lot of people from IT, and I had to use their language, even though we're speaking the same language. I mean, like their words to kind of communicate the same message, and which got me interested in computer science and in my minor. So, a little tidbit. So outcomes. So freshmen who continued in a second year in engineering lasted 5 years, averaged 90%. After graduation for the class of 2019, 74% are employed and 13% plan to attend graduation for school or have accepted admissions. And the median starting salary is 70 grand for class of 2019. So for scholarships, for freshmen, we have the Davenport Leadership Scholarship, the Pratt Engineering Scholarship. We have lots of financial aid. So after your freshman year, you based financial aid off of your kind of your major and in the college. We have Leo A. Pattis Scholarship. And for upperclassmen, like I said, we have College of Engineering funds and departmental scholarships in your department, for me, chemical engineering. And this is all in one application, which is really nice. So I don't have to, so for me being an upperclassmen student who has a bunch of classes taking 20 credit hours and is always on the go, it's really nice to just have one application that you can just click and fill out the information, fill out whatever is needed, and then kind of just keep on rolling. I will say that during my first year, I did get the Pratt Engineering Scholarship, and that kind of really helped me at Virginia Tech, and that allowed me to kind of get into Hypatia and kind of get myself started at Virginia Tech. So I'm always very thankful. So computer requirements. So a laptop, we're in 2-in-1 laptop, and you can check the specifications on our website. I don't suggest buying a laptop until the summer before entering Virginia Tech because things can always change. And the benefits of a 2-in-1 computer, I have a 2-in-1 computer and I absolutely love it. It's really great for kind of keeping your things organized in OneNote. You can digitally take notes in OneNote. Writing equations, especially in your math classes, when you're writing equations, you don't kind of want to type out your equations because it doesn't really look right. And submitting and graded homework. I have this feature in my 2-in-1 computer that I can just snip the whole screen and just submit it as homework, and it's very helpful and very convenient. So why did I come to the College of Engineering at Virginia Tech? I always love this question. So I came to the College of Engineering at Virginia Tech because I looked at a very large array of schools, and Virginia Tech both fit my personality and kind of the school spirit, and where everybody is everybody is a friend of someone. So I can walk down Virginia Tech and just be like, hi, how are you? And they'll be like, oh, I'm good, how are you? You know, everybody's super friendly at this school, and that's something I was looking for. And it's a huge school, and I won't lie, it is a big school, but you can make it as big or as small as you want to be. And I feel like I made Virginia Tech kind of my home, and I made it as small as I want to be, and it's something that I really love, and I'm really integrated in my major. Another reason I came to Virginia Tech is because they have a great living learning community program. I think Hypatia was a great selling point for me to come to Virginia Tech because they really teach you about how to sell yourself as an engineer and as an employer when you get to Engineering Expo. And also Hypatia and Galileo in their living learning community has a lab at the bottom of their floor where you can learn things like 3D printing, you can learn things like coding, soldering, you know, different aspects like that. All freshmen have access to something like this. It's called Frith Lab, but if you're in the Hypatia and Galileo living learning communities, you also have access to a separate set as well. So that's actually something that I thought that I loved about it, and that's kind of why I came to Virginia Tech, and I loved it ever since. So you talked about SAT. What about ACT? So we do accept ACT. You would have to ask more about that's more of an admissions question than my question. So I don't really know more about that. You would have to ask admissions. What is the average ACC score for Virginia Tech? Again, you would have to ask admissions that question. Why can't everyone get their Oh, right here. Okay, sorry. Why can't everyone get their first choice major? Because we have so many students coming into Virginia Tech, it's kind of a balance of faculty and students. Because when everybody comes into Virginia Tech, if everybody wants that major, we don't have as many faculty to support to support you guys, because we do have like a 3-in-1 for like 3 students to 1 faculty member, especially when you get on in your engineering career. So we want to make sure that you have the attention that you deserve to learn materials. So I'm going to continue. How competitive are internship and co-ops coming out of Virginia Tech? So I think what this question means is that, like, how competitive are internships and co-ops, like, while you're in Virginia Tech, not exactly when you come out. So I would say that it depends on the major you're in and depends what year you're in. So for example, if you are a freshman in general engineering and you're looking for an internship or co-op, I would say it's very competitive, because you're a freshman and you haven't really gotten into your major classes yet. While whether you're a sophomore or junior, or maybe even a senior, getting an internship or co-op, you have the background, you have the knowledge to make yourself kind of more notable. And I would say to that as well, that doing stuff like research and maybe being involved in different clubs on campus builds your resume as well. As engineering students, that's kind of really focused on, is how to build your resume to become a more well-rounded individual. Do you have to apply for the freshman scholarships? You would have to call admissions for that, because I don't remember if I applied or not. I don't remember if they were just offered. So I would say that you would have to call admissions for that. Any advice to prepare for freshman year in the engineering program? I think that's a great question. I would say definitely take as many high-level classes in math and science as you can, because I feel like when I was in high school, my AP Calc class really helped me prepare now that I am older and I reflect back on my years of high school. I think that my AP honors classes really helped me prepare for, life in the engineering program. And as for what you can prepare during your time, I would say just, become knowledgeable and become like well-rounded as a student, I would say. Do engineering students often double major in non-engineering majors? I would say not often. But there are people who do double majors, so in non-engineering majors, and it does work out for them. So it's not impossible. Like, for example, my best friend, she is double majoring in Spanish and civil engineering, and she is awesome at both. So I would say that maybe it's not common, but it's not impossible. Are students that have not had engineering experiences at their high school at a different disadvantage when studying for engineering at Virginia Tech? I would say absolutely not. No way that they are at a disadvantage. I did not come from an engineering background at all in my high school. Fun fact, when I was in high school, I actually wanted to be a lawyer, and I made a complete 360. So my high school was I picked my high school out of that one, but then I realized I didn't want to do it. But I would say that you are not at a disadvantage at all. What are the class sizes like for engineering students? So when you first come into as a freshman, the class sizes are rather large, because you're kind of in big lecture halls for their general classes, physics, chemistry, math, Calc 1, Calc 2, such like that. I would say that as you get into your engineering programs and into your engineering major, they become smaller and smaller and smaller. My last chemi class was about like 50 students, maybe even a little less. But despite the class size, I would like to say that professors really make an effort to kind of get to know you as a student, especially if you go to office hours, especially if you kind of make an effort to get to know them and make sure that you really understand the material and participate in class. Professors notice that, and then notice that in students. Are there applied mathematics classes? Yes. Yes, because I have to take one. I have to take one applied mathematics class. Although I don't know if there's more than one, and I'm not very sure about that. You would have to look into the engineering major that you want specifically. But I know for computer science, I have to take one. For my minor, I have to take one applied mathematics class. What advice would you give a rising sophomore in high school? who has no clue about what he's doing. What I would advice that I would give you is a rising sophomore is you're like super ahead of the game. Kudos to you. So I would say kind of do clubs and activities and research about kind of what you want to do in engineering. So for example, when I was thinking about not becoming a lawyer and thinking about other majors, I kind of researched my interest on Google. And I know that kind of sounds like silly or whatever, but I actually researched my interest on Google, and chemical engineering and engineering came up, and like hands-on activities and stuff that I like. And that's how I kind of got interested in the major, and that's kind of how I came to be. And that's, years later I am now. So I would say kind of just do some research about kind of what you want to do in your engineering career. And as I showed before, that engineering, our College of Engineering website has all the different majors, and it has specific, you can click on specific things like, what do you like to do? It literally says, what do you like to do? And I clicked on it and I was like, wow, this major really sounds like me. And that's kind of how I got going with it. You mentioned how the male-female ratio is about 80-20. Do you feel like pretty unbalanced in your classes? So, I mean, I don't feel like it's unbalanced in my classes because everybody is kind of friends in my classes, and I kind of know everybody in my classes. I don't feel like it's unbalanced at all. Do you know a typical freshman class schedule? So a typical freshman class schedule, you can find it on our website. So if you type in kind of general engineering, if you type literally in Google, general engineering VT check sheet, it will come up with a typical freshman class schedule, like literally. But usually take kind of your general classes if you haven't gotten AP or dual enrollment credits for them, chemistry, physics, CLEs, or as you call them, pathways, to kind of become well-rounded before you kind of get into the nitty-gritty of things of your major. Are engineering students typically not student athletes because of their workload? I don't think so, and I don't hold that to be true, because even though I have lots of engineering friends that maybe they're not D1 athletes, but they do participate in teams, club soccer, club swimming, club Quidditch. That is a team, like from Harry Potter. I love watching them. They're super fun group of people. So I wouldn't say that they're not typically athletic because of their workload. I would say kind of like the opposite. You kind of want that. You want that extracurricular activity to kind of, take a break from your workload. Okay. Are there a lot of opportunities for research, co-ops, and internships in robotics? Yes. Well, there's a lot of opportunities for research, co-ops, and internships. I'm not specifically sure about robotics, but if you research Virginia Tech robotics research, it'll come up with a list of research opportunities in specific robotics. I will say that if you ever visit Virginia Tech and you go into Goodwin Hall in the first floor, go up the stairs, second floor, there's a whole research lab there for robotics. So I will say that. Is it required for your GPA to be in the range that you stated at the beginning, and is required your SAT to be in the range? Not necessarily. Not necessary. I don't think that would be a question for admissions. What are the residence halls like, and what is everyday life at a VT student like? So, if you actually look up, or if you look up or you follow on Instagram, VT Residence Halls, VT Residence Halls has an Instagram account, and they actually show like a 3D depiction of what a residence hall looks like at Virginia Tech. I love it. It really helped me when I was going into my school at Virginia Tech. It really helped me kind of get acquainted with the school, because you can also ask questions on Instagram and it's really nice. So I would definitely follow the official VT account. But as for what are the dorms like, you can, they're just like normal dorms, 2 beds, 2 desks. And what is everyday life at Virginia Tech student? It kind of depends on the Virginia Tech student and kind of what you're involved in. What's it like getting around campus from freshman dorms to engineering class? A lot of walking. I will say that. You get your steps in. A lot of walking. If you know how to use the bus schedule, my freshman year, I didn't know how to use the bus schedule, but if you have a HOKP, which every student does, busing is free for students. Does the ocean engineering major have I lost my top. Does the ocean engineering major have a 5-year master's program? To my knowledge, all engineering majors except for chemical engineering have a 5-year master's program. You just have to ask for it. And I know that aerospace engineering does. I am not so certain specifically about ocean engineering, but to my knowledge, every engineering major does have a 5-year master's program except for chemical engineering. But you can look that information up by calling admissions, or you can just look up on the website that I directed before. It would have that information on there. What dorms belong to Hypatia and Galileo Living Learning Community, and what are they like? So the dorm that belongs to Hypatia Galileo Living Learning Community is specifically called Lee Hall. It is by Pritchard Hall. It's all the way by Washington Street, all the way on the side, all the way in the back by the gym. And what are they like? I think they're like any other dorm, very standard way of living. And it's really nice too, because you have, they're separated. So Galileo, I think when I was living there, Galileo was like on floors 1 to 3 or 1 to 4. And then Hypatia was on floors like 5 to 8. So you have all the Galileo people living on one floor, all the Hypatia people living on another floor. Are there any fun events or traditions at VT you like in particular? Okay, so I like this question. So fun events and traditions at VT that I like, I love, so something that I recently participated in, unfortunately I didn't get a chance to go because of COVID, was ring dance, but I got to get my VT class ring, and that's super fun. Traditions, and jumping to Enter Sandman is a huge tradition at Virginia Tech, and I love going to a football game every Saturday and jumping to Enter Sandman. It's like, it's such a big thrill to just participate in something with a whole Virginia Tech student body. Do you have to live off campus your freshman year? No, your freshman year, you have to live on. I don't know if you meant live on campus, but your freshman year, you do have to live on campus, not off campus. Is the 80-20 male-female ratio for incoming engineering students or current engineering students population? Incoming engineering student population. And does Virginia Tech like the full IB diploma? I'm not sure. You would have to call admissions, or you can email this website right here that you see right below, engrrecr@vt.edu. Are there any APs that VT doesn't accept for course credit? I'm not sure about that. You would have to ask admissions. How many classes that are specifically math classes do engineers take? If we've already done Calc 1, Calc 2, and Calc 3, are we done? It depends on the major that you're in. So for example, I can speak to chemical engineering because I'm a chemical engineering major. I had to take up to Calc 5 or 6. You kind of lose track when they don't count numbers anymore. But I had to take up to like Calc 5 or 6, which is operational methods. And operational methods is a class that only Virginia Tech offers. Thank you all so much for attending.